If you told my 16-year-old self that one day I'd be working on some of the biggest records in the world, I wouldn't have believed you. Gear is the least important thing to me in a recording studio. Most important thing to me is great players with pretty good instruments and a great song. I'll take that any day of the week. Although I would have to say I probably still need the Monheim Omnis for my piano. That's a deal breaker. Hi, I'm Garten. Welcome to Crème Recording. Come on in. We've been here since about 2012 officially, as a full-service recording studio. The first space you hit when you're here is the kitchen. This is the most complimented item probably in the entire studio. It's first thing people see when they come in. This is what we call the glam room. So when my business partner Josh found this studio, he wanted to convert it into a really vibey space that had natural light and felt really good. The ceilings, for instance, right about here were only like 10 feet high and didn't really provide itself to be a great space to record drums. So we wanted to raise the ceiling up, provide more air and openness to the room. We really love this room, and it's a great acoustic room for anything from strings to drums to piano to, we did a 40-piece choir in here once, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, we fit a lot of things in here and made a lot of music in this room. But the nice thing is we have a few other ISO booths as well, so we're able to bring everybody together. This is one of my favorite rooms in the building. This is, we call it the Nashville room. And the Nashville room is more tightly controlled, acoustically speaking. So it's got a double wall, double ceiling, true studio form. The slabs are cut. Acoustically, it's more isolated from the rest of the building. So I've done everything in here from a 5-piece Hungarian band to a 4-piece string quartet to multiple pop stars and artists who've come in and sang here and made vocals work in this room. My name's not the biggest one in the packaging, it's the artist, and I work so hard to help the artists translate the ideas and the emotions in their songs and in their heads into reality, however we have to do it. So this is our ISO booth. It does not have a formal name like the rest of our rooms. It's a really smaller, tight room. We generally keep acoustic players in here. A lot of the acoustics on some of the biggest records I've worked on have come out of this room. It's controlled, it's tight, and you have a lot of flexibility as well. Currently up in this room, I've been doing vocals with the Monheim Crème, and it's a fantastic, silky top end. The bottom end I'm most pleased by. I have had some other microphones that kind of had this vibe, but they didn't quite capture the punch and the body of the acoustic guitar, for instance, is a great example. One more thing I'll tell you about musicians in Nashville. The men and women that make up the session musicians that come to these studios every day are the best in the business. I love seeing men and women who really care about the craft and the music. When they come, they have fun, and the energy they bring to every session. I only like to work with people that are fun to work with, for instance. So we only hire the best people, but also the funnest people to be around. My wife and I never had kids, but I do have a baby, in fact. This Baldwin concert vertical was gifted to me at the beginning of the pandemic, and it saved my life. I sat here every day playing and playing and playing and pouring my heart and soul out on it. Monheim Omnis are the microphones that I've found to utilize on it. It replicates what I'm hearing from my soul if I'm listening to the speakers. Like I feel the richness, I feel the piano, I feel like I'm emoting with it. And those microphones have become a very important part of that sound. The best way I can compare it is if you can see a very clear vision left to right, but if you actually pay attention, your nose is right here in between, and if you really pay attention, it obstructs the view. Well, these microphones are like that vision of clarity from left to right. So the sound field is tremendous on them, and the depth and detail of the top and bottom end is stellar. Like the extension I started to hear on this piano was mind-blowing. Besides the piano, this is the place I spend most of my time. The control room, come on in. I call this the heart and soul of the operation. This is where the music is all brought together to a central point. Mixing is an area I heavily focus on, and I would say it's a specialty of mine. I really try to think three-dimensionally about sound before I even start a mix. It's as I'm listening to the rough, I'm thinking about where can I place these things around me in a way, even through just stereo speakers, to create a sense of clarity, yet of motion, feeling, and depth. I keep my guitars and stuff ready and at hand as much as possible because you never know when you have an idea and you really need to be able to snap into action mode. Over here, I have Nashville Mastering, which is a sister company of Crème Recording, run by Josh Keith. And we do all analog mastering here, as well as digital. We are a full in-house service place. We don't have to do anything outside of these four walls. We do mastering, production, co-writing, you name it, from everything start to finish. So, and some of the stuff that helps us do that are these synthesizers on the wall, or keyboards. I keep everything over here kind of ready to go if someone's inspired, wants to grab something and jump in on it. It all started in my parents' third floor of their house in a bedroom with a stereo DAT recorder and a bad mixer and some horrible microphones. It's a funny time to think about, especially now having gotten to work, for instance, on Taylor's versions, and how much that's been so profoundly received by her fans, and it's just resonated the world round. And it's amazing to be part of a story like that and to be able to contribute something positive to a meaningful story to someone else. One of the interesting things about our control room is the left wall. You have a window that looks into the glam room, so there is, again, sight lines. I've reserved a space for some of the records I've had the most joy and pleasure to get to work on in my career, everything from 1989 Taylor's version, to Speak Now Taylor's version, to Red Taylor's version, to Fearless Taylor's version. It's been amazing to be part of a team working on such a monumental record that has been a story of regaining ownership, and I believe as creators that every creator should have that ability to do. Up here we have Brittany Howard's side project Thunder Bitch, which is a really great rock and roll thing. Aaron András is a Hungarian artist I've had the pleasure to get to work with. He is one of the most soulful voices I've ever heard, even down to Uncle Skeleton, who's a fantastic artist as well. My mom taught me there were no boundaries in this world. Like, she is a woman who, her entire career, fought sexism, discrimination in the workplace. Working in the military as long as she did, she rose to the rank of colonel, and that was an inspiration for me to know that if my mom can do anything, I can do anything. And I always have her in the back of my head when I'm sitting there with doubt and wondering if I can move forward, because her journey and her story is pretty magical. When we acquired this place, we put a lot of heart and soul into it and really worked it up to build it to this point, over the last 10+ years. I think that's a testament to our work and the work that we can do, and to our clients and the successes that we've had with those clients. It's something that I'm really proud of is the fact that we're still here, especially after a pandemic and some other things that have changed the music business completely. And as it continues to change and evolve, I'm excited about where it's going. I think there's a lot of hope in that future. Crème in itself means that we're very niche and specialized, yet at the same time, we can do anything that we need to. It's a very home space that brings people in from all over the world and allows them to come in and feel at home. I often hear this from artists that go back to wherever they go. They say, I miss Crème, it's like a second home to me. And it's never been truer than to me, who's lived the last 10 years plus of my life in this room and making records. It's been beautiful.